All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first session of the conference. I hope we're all caffeinated up. I know I've had way too much coffee today, so I apologize if I speak at a lightning speed, but I've also prepared way too much information kind of on purpose too. And yeah, I just like to have that buffer. So welcome. This session it's entitled Stay a While and Listen. Why and how to use more stories in your world language classrooms. If you don't know me, my name is Will Smith. I teach at Waipahu High School. You'll have my email right up there at the beginning. I'll have it at the end of the presentation, and I'll also be sharing the slides for this presentation as well with you guys at the end, because like I said, I prepared way too much and we're never going to get to all of it. So you'll be able to access it if you want to get into a little more details. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Ohio. I went to university in Dayton and got a degree in music, and then for some silly reason, moved to Japan and part of the JET program, taught Japanese there for 3 years. And then I've slowly been making my way back east to Ohio, but I got stuck here in Hawaii. And I've been here since 2003. I have been teaching at Waipahu High School since 2004. So I'd like to share with you really first just start off with just a wonderful story. It's my favorite story. I still can't believe this happened. So as a Japanese teacher at Waipahu High School, one of the things I often get to do is take students to Japan. And we have a sister school in Hiroshima where we've been taking students for the last 8 years, and it's just been a wonderful experience. And at our sister school, there's an English teacher, a friend of mine named Preston. He's from Seattle. And a couple years back, while I was taking the students to Hiroshima, it's actually our sister school is in a smaller city called Fukuyama. Fukuyama is a medium-sized city, not really known for tourism. It's just a regular kind of city. So you're not going to find a whole lot of foreigners and non-Japanese people. There's not a whole lot in the city. On my last night of the trip, Preston and I decided to go out to a restaurant. We went to this small little restaurant, had, one of those places that has like 8 tables, really good food. And we sat down and ordered our food. And a couple minutes later, another group came in and sat at the table next to us, and they were also 2 foreigners. And this was really surprising because that, in my town, in that town, it doesn't really happen. And just as it happens in small restaurants, and we struck up a conversation with them. And we started talking. We talked for a little while, and then one of them asked what we were doing here, and I told, oh, Preston works at the high school, and I'm part of the sister school. And I said, oh, where are you guys from? And I said, oh, I'm from Hawaii. And the one guy at the table said, no way, I'm from Hawaii too. Couldn't believe it, right? It was like, what a small world to run into somebody else from Hawaii at this tiny restaurant in Fukuyama. And so we get talking a little more, and he says, oh, what island are you from? I said, well, our school's on Oahu. I teach on Oahu. And he said, okay, me too. What school? And I said, Waipahu High School. Do you know it? And he just got really quiet. And he looked at me and he said, is your name Smith Sensei? And it turns out that this guy that we randomly sat next to in a random restaurant in Fukuyama was a graduate of Waipahu High School. And I told you guys that I used to be a music teacher. My very first year, I helped out with the pep band for football games. He graduated my very first year and remembered me because I helped out teaching or helped out conducting the band at football games. And to just wow, oh my God, to meet somebody like that, to have that experience thousands of miles away from home in a if you go to a big tourist spot, okay, you might see something like that, but to run into somebody that was a graduate from my school and even knew my name, that really freaked me out for a second. But it's just incredible, right? So I went out and played the lottery right after that, and unfortunately I didn't win, but you got to try. Yeah. So just the odds of that just blow my mind. And it's been just something that I really want to I tell my students, like, you never know what's going to happen. You never know when you go into these experiences what you're going to get. But and today, we are going to explore some reasons why stories are so powerful, especially in world language classes. I'm going to share with you a lot of effective strategies that I use and some that I'm still trying to discover. All of my slides are going to have links to the people that have created these series or great examples of them. So later on, when you get the slide deck, you can go in and go down that rabbit hole and discover all these different things for yourself, find what really fits for you in your classroom. And then, because it's me and my class, we're going to have a little bit of fun too. So I'll show you some things I do with that. So why do we use stories? Why are stories so effective in the world language classroom? I really like this quote. We are all storytellers. We all have stories to tell. Yeah, every one of us, teachers, students, everyone. So we live in a network of stories. There isn't a stronger connection between people than storytelling. And I truly believe that. So why do we do stories, right? First off, stories are fun. They're just fun, right? Who doesn't enjoy a story, right? I remember being all the way from when we were little kids. I remember my parents, my grandparents reading me stories before bedtime, right? Bedtime stories, all those, right? We all love stories in many different formats, right? Today, we get most of our stories through Netflix and movies and things like that, right? But it's still, they're telling a story. And if anything we've learned this year is, yeah, we need stories, especially from Netflix. I don't know how I would have gotten through this year without Netflix or anything like that. I don't know, right? But I've watched way too much. Stories can also help build community. Stories are a great way to make connections between you and the students, for students to make connections with each other. And I'll show many examples of that when we get into some of the strategies. But it just helps us discover not only our differences, but where they are similar. And for me, I'm really about making a good environment in the classroom, and stories really help out with that because we learn more about each other. Stories are familiar. You know, it can be scary to learn a world language. Yeah, there's so much unfamiliar. I don't know all this language. I don't know all these things that's coming, but if you can bring something familiar to anchor them to, then that fear, that newness, that strangeness lessens a little bit. It helps students feel more relaxed and more calm in the classroom. They increase student engagement and participation a whole lot, especially when the stories are created by the students. When they have input into that, they love that. Or even better, when the stories are about the students, right? Because they love to talk about themselves, right? They love to share. They really do. You just have to give them a good environment to do that, a safe environment where it feel open and ready. But if you can do that, they really enjoy sharing. Stories can also introduce and explore different cultural things, right? All of our languages that we have specific iconic stories that you can teach, and that can also connect with stories that we have in our first language. But also through those stories, you can learn the different, why did that happen? What is that? Why is that important in that society? And talk about all of those different aspects of stories that can really get to some of the cultural things in a way that, you know, instead of just saying, okay, in Japan, they do this, having the kids explore and having them ask, hey, sensei, why did they do that? And when it comes from the student, from that curiosity, I just find it so much stronger and it sticks with them. But wait, there's more. Of course, it can help students acquire language. Yeah, especially some stories, especially younger stories, you know, they're just built with a lot of repetition in it. Think, for example, you know, dare I say green eggs and ham? Yeah, I mean, how many times do you hear green in that story? You know, it's all these different things. So a lot of stories have a lot of repetition. The same thing kind of happens again. The three little pigs, the wolf goes to the first house, the wolf goes to the second house, the wolf goes to the third house, right? So it's the same kind of thing. that repetition really helps them acquire language. You can use stories to hit on all of the modes of communication. Of course, if they're just coming from you, coming out, the comprehensible mode, yeah, the students can listen to it, they can read it, but when they're creating their own stories and then presenting that, or if they are working together to try and figure out what's happening with a story, they have to have that interaction, that negotiation of meaning between each other, with each other, to figure out what's happening. So you could use it for all three modes. Encourages more and more communication, sparks creativity. I really hit on this one. And in fact, this is what we're going to kind of get at the very end when we get to the fun part. You guys ever get you ask the kids a question, I say it's like the parent question when kids come home, how was school today? Fine. Good. You get those one word monosyllable answers. Yeah, but if you use some of these techniques, it's really going to encourage them to go beyond that, to elaborate more, and then hopefully through that they will grow their language. And then, like I said, who doesn't like a good story? It's fun. So how do we do it? Yeah, again, everybody has stories. Everybody likes to tell. And I really like this quote: there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. And I see this all the time, especially when I have my students and they have something they want to say in the target language and they just can't quite get it out. But teaching them how to do that, how to get it out, even if it's not exactly at the same level as their first language, teaching them, okay, if you have this very complex sentence or statement that you want to say in your target language, how can you get the meaning of that? How can you communicate the meaning without having to just copy and paste into Google Translate and then say a bunch of words that you don't know what it is because that's beyond your language level, right? So really teaching them how to communicate that untold story inside them. There's so many techniques to do this. I'm going to go over a few. And again, like I said, all of these have links, so you can check it out when I share the slide deck at the end. And please don't let me forget that, because I might do that. Please don't let me forget to share the link to the slides at the end. So how do we do this? I've been a huge fan of story listening. Story listening usually uses known stories. It's very common to use like fairy tales and things that the students already know the story, right? So you're not really working as hard on the comprehension part as you are of, okay, how does that language go? It relies a lot on drawing, which is really fun because I'm awful at drawing, which you will see in a minute. And I'm epically awful at drawing, and my students make fun of me for it all the time, right? Everything I draw looks like a potato, basically. I can nail potatoes, except when I try to draw a potato, then I can't. Acting skills are also helpful if you can, not necessary. Why it's effective: known stories connect meaning. You can also use teacher-created stories. For some reason, the students really like the stories where I do stupid things. I don't know why. Yeah, they just like hearing about how I spilled coffee all over my car this morning, or went to the gym and forgot my change of clothes and had to wear sweaty gym clothes all day, or so, they like hearing those kinds of stories for some reason. I don't know. Yeah. But it has lots and lots of comprehensible input, again, because students kind of already know the story in some situations. Yeah. If you go to the website for Dr. Benico Mason, she really says for true story listening that it is already a created story. So you think of like a fairy tale or something that you already know. I like that and I use that, but I've also tailored it and use the same method for my own created stories as well. Again, whatever you can do to connect with the students. TPRS. I've really been getting into TPRS techniques in the last couple of years, and I really have to thank Waipahu High School Spanish teacher Diana Cristina Williams. I think I saw. Oh, there she is. Yeah, hi Diana. So a few years back, I'm also run the Seal of Biliteracy at my school, And a few years back, we got the results from the Spanish syllabi literacy. And many students who were not native speakers of Spanish were scoring scores of 8, which is advanced mid on the syllabi literacy. I said, that's crazy. They were outscoring native speaker Ilocano and Tagalog speakers at Waipahu High School, which if you know Waipahu High School, that's impressive, okay? Because our school is filled with Tagalog and Ilocano native speakers, right? So her non-native Spanish speaking classes were outscoring students that had spoken those languages for their entire, and I said, great, how did she do that? And I was talking with her, and she told me she uses a lot of TPRS, and so I said, okay, I'm on. If it, she proved it with beyond a doubt that that's going to work. So TPRS is created by Blaine Ray. It lets you ask a story, so you can create stories together with your class, and this has a whole lot of potential for individualization. You're getting students' personal information to getting to know them better. Generally, for this one, you have language targets, I want to say, in my opinion, right? I know it's like, okay, I want to generally talk about this. So I have a couple targets, and then I sometimes I might try to aim the story of where we're going towards some of those targets, or I'll start off with those and then see where it goes. But it can be really, really powerful. Lots of negotiation, right? Because you're talking back and forth. Hey, did our character go to here, or did they go there? Do they want this? Do they want this? How do they feel? Do they feel like this? Do they feel like this? And then you have these class discussions, and they come up with lots of crazy answers. And again, really, really good blend of targeted, non-targeted language, and create lots of stories that you can then piggyback on and create secondary stories about. And I really like this for longer stories, especially, right? You could use this for chapter books if you have any available in your language, and different longer kind of stories. Really good for that. One word image, I have to say, is probably my favorite. This is kind of the crazy, it goes wherever, right? This is usually, yeah, this is crazy. So this was originally created by Ben Slavic. And again, sorry if it's not obvious, but on anything that's green on these slides, these are hyperlinked. So you can click on that and get to more information about that, yeah? So one word image, you create a character together as a class. The students love this because we create crazy characters. We created a character last year that was a giraffe that had human feet. It was rainbow, and he was only 6 inches tall. Right? It's just crazy, right? But the kids love it, and the kids draw the character as we're going. They love the big reveal. But the thing is, like, after you have this character, now you can start creating so many secondary stories out of it. Okay, why is he small? Why is he rainbow? Where did he come from? What are his hobbies? What does he want to do? He wanted to do the pole vault event, but he was too short. So instead, and it just goes everywhere and anywhere. And it's crazy, and it's all done in the target language. And the kids, they really get behind. They love this. If we're up to them, we probably almost do a different one every day. But then you get all these pictures, you post them up, and like I said, then you start having them create secondary stories, and it's just amazing. It's one of my favorite. I've used it a lot this year. It's been a huge foundation from all of my classes this year. I'm gonna have to, for time, skip through a couple, but other things. Embedded reading is huge. This is taking a story and then just creating like 5 different versions of it, from simple to the original story, right? So think of the 3 pigs, yeah? You could say 3 brothers built houses, 2 of the houses fell down, the 3 pigs all lived together in the last house, or the 3 brothers lived together, right? You could say the 3 pigs basically in 3 sentences. But then you do another level that gives more detail, all the way out to the original story. And great for differentiation. And it can hit different levels of students in the class. Special person interview, super love. I'm sorry, I'm going to go tear through these so we have time for everything. movie clip, weekend talk, small talk, all of these calendar talk. If you haven't heard of them, again, all of these different things. Here's something I put in the chat earlier. I love this, and I even shared a video of it. We had the entire class unmute and sing happy birthday together. It is so awful that it's hilarious. It's so bad. It's so laggy. Everybody's out of tune. Everybody's like, it's just beautiful chaos. I highly, it's one of my favorite things. And there's my timer. And then we do all this. What starts to really make stories powerful is when the students can start creating their own. And believe it or not, you can do this pretty early on in a level 1 class if you just teach them this simple format of creating a story. Yeah. First off here, introduce a character. Gilmore, the tiny giraffe, right? Give them the character a feeling. Gilmore is sad. Why is he sad? Because he doesn't have socks. Okay, so then he goes to Walmart to get socks, but they don't have any. Yeah, he goes to Walmart to get socks. Step 5, does Walmart have socks for him? If so, yay, he feels happy. Story over, right? If not, go back to 4. He goes somewhere else. He goes to Sock Mart to get socks. And then they have it, and then yay, right? Simple, easy language that students will be able to do very quickly and create their own stories. And I can't tell you how many times I've had like a level 1 student in like second, third month just come up with an interesting little core of this story. And then we'll just take that and run with it. And we create that and hash it out and make this whole other story. And now we have this whole huge library of different stories. All right. I've been talking a lot. I want to have some fun. I told you guys that there is a great way to get your students to be creative, and it's this. I love this game. I do this with the students. You probably can't do this in the target language unless you're going into like level 3 or level 4, but it's not, I don't really use it for that. I use it to get students to be creative. So you guys know the telephone game you used to play at school where you stood in a line and somebody would say something, you'd whisper it and you got to whisper it. This is kind of the same thing, except the first person is going to write like the first sentence of a story. Then it's going to be given to another person. The person has to read that sentence and then draw a picture to figure that out, right? And then the next person is going to get that picture and then they have to write a sentence about it. And then it's just going to go back and forth between that. Now, I'm really sorry, because of the size of the group, we just don't have time to play it, but I really want to show this. So I'm going to limit it to a smaller group. Oh, sorry, let me exit the screen here. Can you guys still see my screen? Can you see Gartic phone right now? Okay, so I'm just going to start a game. I am going to limit it to 4 players. Just, yeah, it's going to be the first 4. I'll put the link in the chat. So the first 4 people that are super energetic and want to go out and get yourself out there. Everybody else, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to kind of watch along. But I'll take the first 4 people. There's a link, the first 4 people that can join and play with us. Anybody who wants to, go ahead and join. I'm going to show you a super speed run version. It's going to be quick. It's going to be on fire. We got 1 person. We need 2 more people to join us. We got, oh, there we go. We got a cool nickname. You can be completely anonymous. There we go. Okay, so we got 4 players now. So if you are playing, I do not recommend that you watch my screen. Yeah, kind of give some things away. So here's what it's going to do. I'm going to start it off. This is going to go quick. I put it on a speed run. It's going to go super fast because I'm super caffeinated today. It's going to go super quick. You're going to have to write a sentence. You're going to have to draw. You're going to have to write and draw and go back and forth. And then we're going to see everybody's story. So here it goes. You're writing a story right now. First sentence of a story. And then hit done. When you're done, now you get to see the epic drawing skills. Oh boy, okay. Blue shirt. Oops, I shouldn't talk. I'm also using a mouse pad or a trackpad, which makes it even funner to try and draw with. That doesn't even look like, oh boy. Time's almost up. Ooh. Make sure you click done when you're done. Got 2 more quick rounds. Now I'm going to get a random picture and see. Oh. Super quick. Oh boy. Okay. See what I mean? Everything's potatoes for me. Yeah. Oh boy, I am so bad. Got to cheat. Yeah, oops. No. Done. Oh boy. Okay. So awful, so bad. I know every one of you is a much better artist than I am. So now when this is all done, we can go back and look at everybody's story and see how the first sentence went, and you can see what happened. So we start off with my sentence. Started off with,
he's Bob because he's in water and he has no arms or legs. Okay, that's why he's Bob.
There you go, right? And so you can see the different directions that it went. Next one, this story, Will eating sushi at the park. Oh, yeah. Right, there you go, there you go. Yeah, I knew that's where it was gonna go. Yeah, I know. Okay. So this is really hard because we were on the speed round, right? It is challenging. So let's see this one here. Principal, I thought it was a bathroom, but I didn't, right? I was like, is that just a weird refrigerator? Okay. There you go. Nice. Got the briefcase and everything. Got it. Yeah, this one was rough.
I couldn't finish my sentence.
I know, right?
Time ran
It's
out.
hard. It's super fast. Yeah. Oh. Cough, right? I was trying to put a mask on them. I ran out, right? Okay. So this game is called Gartic Phone. Students also love this, but there's so many other settings, right? We just did a lightning round. We could do this whole room. You could have everybody take part in it, but it would just take too long to do it. You can also change it so it's not so fast. Again, for time, we just went super fast. So sorry for all of you that weren't able to finish your artwork. It's hard to draw under pressure. But we are just right on time right now. I just wanted to end with saying, again, guys, you know, stories have so much potential. Everybody loves stories. Oops, sorry. And they really, really, am I sharing my screen? Can you guys see the presentation? Yep, okay. They really, really have changed my teaching and how I've done things in the classes. And I've just really, there's so much rich language, so many possibilities and potentials with all of these techniques. So I've really gone to using almost everything I do in my class is something related off of one of these things. And it's all about telling that story, getting the kids to communicate, to tell their own stories, to be creative, to elaborate, and to communicate with each other. And it has been, it's really changed my classroom in the last couple of years. And I'm really glad that I'm going in this direction. There's a lot to it. If you haven't done any of these things, I recommend just look at one of those links, just take it a little deeper. It's really easy if you click on those links to start going down the rabbit hole and finding a lot of other things to go to. So this should open up to lots of potential other places. But are there any questions in the last minute or so that we have? Let me share the presentation with you. I'm going to put this in the chat right here. There it is. Feel free to use it, to click on all those links. And if not, enjoy the rest of your conference today, everybody. I'll stay here for a couple minutes if anybody has any questions or anything you want to ask. Don't forget, you can go over to the Wonder Room right now, go back and connect with other people. And I believe our next presentation will start in about 10 minutes. Rachel, is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Okay. So enjoy the rest of your conference, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci.
Ooh, caffeine.
Are we stopping the recording for now?
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'm going to stop right there.